Some Swedes.
All right. Sounds good. All right,
Some
so
Swedes.
you'll be looking at me, of course, the whole time, and yeah, we'll just be chopping it up. So you can get us started and introduce yourself.
I'm from Compton, man. I'm from the hub city, where it all started. The reason why it's the hub city is because it's the centralmost area in LA County. It's the hub. There was actually a hospital in Compton back in the days, Rancho Dominguez Hospital. And I think maybe the day after I was born, they shut it down. So I shut it down after I, nah, I'm just messing around. It's a place for me, I mean, not to sound cliche, I mean, it's a place called home, you know, for me when I think about it. And it's a place that I feel like I can always go and feel comfortable and be myself. My name is Lucas Edens, but my stage name is Luke Ellington because I do music. Not on the stage anymore, but I'm producing in my studio mostly. But I was born in '75, in the mid-'70s, man. You know, there was a lot of things happening in the community, in the black communities. In my neighborhood, PCP, or they call it Shern, or they call it water.
This man smoked just one cigarette dipped in PCP. An hour later, he ended up here in an emergency room.
They got this thing called Sherman, and weed and gold, drugs, okay? And drugs is in the black neighborhood. I don't like that.
Part of it is the drugs. Part of it is because of our position. Our fathers and grandfathers had to work more. They had to work harder. They had to work double, right? Took them out of the homes. My grandfather, you know, he worked 2 jobs for like 20 years. Like, I know he was home, but he was gone a lot too, right? Gave my uncles enough time to get into stuff. Like, in my neighborhood, man, I could count on my hand, like, the fathers that were there, right? That was my situation. I had a grandfather, so I had a father, right? But he was kind of out of touch with what was really going on because of the generational gap, right? And so he don't really understand what's going on with the gangs outside. He knows he sees guys hanging out and sometimes fighting and doing things, but they've been doing that for centuries, right? Yeah, it's crazy. And this is the canal right here where we used to go across, right where on Cressy or Rosecrans, just go across to Gonzalez Park. We used to shoot around. We used to play in the flag football league, the traveling team, basketball with Pee Wee and them. And man, it was a time where, you know, we could actually do that. When we were younger, and you had your friends, you know, in the neighborhood, and it just felt like, you know, you could do whatever. You could ride your bike anywhere. You saw everybody, like, from all the different neighborhoods, because this was the closest park to us. So right around, probably not even 87, bro, like maybe 86, there was a point where me and some of the friends that I, you know, hung around with in my neighborhood couldn't walk to Gonzalez Park anymore without there being some kind of confrontation or, you know, hey man, where you from? Where y'all from?
Rosecrans and Wilmington, you know that's where I started. Looking out
So the gangs kind of kept us from going up there and playing sports anymore or going up there and hanging out because they had kind of taken over the park, you know? I mean, that was their park. Out of respect and out of not want to get your ass whooped, you know, you're not gonna go to that park. And that was kind of the start of it. Now you're hanging out in your neighborhood because you're not gonna go to the park. Now you're hanging out in your own, like, vacuum. And so now this is where you start getting assimilated into the gangs.
Nadia is working with 2 teenagers who've been involved in gang violence.
Like, they don't know who gang bang. Everybody bang. Just about nerds, don't nerds, and nothing. I gang bang. I'm from gangster, and I can't stop until I die, so I don't know. And police just consider you as a gangbang if you ain't even no gangbang, but I bang, so.
Why do you bang?
Because I grew up in the community, and I guess I followed along with everybody else.
The streets is coming. As you get older, they start knocking on your door. Hey, you, you belong with us. And if you don't have that, knowledge of self, right, and self-awareness, hey, you feel welcomed anywhere. You go feel welcome there. Let me tell you about my minor stint with gangbanging. Where I live, it wasn't the best place to gangbang, because I live on the street where it was mostly Crips, but then the street that it runs into is Bloods. One day I saw a couple guys walking down the street, on their side, and I ran up to the corner, boom, what up, cuz, right? And they was like, oh, it was a dude, I remember his name was Roscoe, and he had two little younger dudes with him. And I was talking about right? He was like, all right, we gonna get you, blood. Maybe a couple of weeks later, I realized I have some close friends that live in that neighborhood that I can go over all the time. I wanted to shoot some hoop. That was my minor stint, man. Once I realized I can't go everywhere I want to go, and I'm pretty like a free bird, kind of, so I don't need to be caged like that. And it could be a mental cage. It's not a real cage, it's an invisible cage, but you are in the cage when you're in the game. You can't go everywhere, you can't do what you want to do. You gotta watch your back. I actually saw him several years later, like in a Rite Aid, and we just said what's up to each other. Like, we just like forget all that, I found out just like not too long ago that he passed away. And I thought about it, man, we probably could have been friends. That's part of the dilemma. It's like we're fighting each other over these things, stupid things, territory and colors, and it's really unfortunate, that these black men have to live this way and go through these things. Then when you get out in the world, then you get around white people or other people, they trying to figure out what the is wrong with you, right? Like, cause they didn't live in cages. They were free, right? They didn't have the invisible cage. So they're like looking at us like, why we act like the way we act? Because we've been in the f***ing cage all our lives, right? And the only thing you can do is try to free yourself from the cage, and the sooner you do that, the better, and then you start to blend in better with the people who haven't been caged before, right? So, anyway.
That was perfect.
We used to ride our bikes up here, man, and just chill and have a good time. They got a gym in the inside. A lot of people remember Coach Pee Wee, rest in peace. Coach Randy, rest in peace, man. They got the lowrider, it say hustle. That's the Martin Luther King little monument between the T and the O. And they got the guy on the horse, man, that's Compton.